Started my career as a dishwasher at Farrell's. Farrell's features fabulous food and fantastic fountain fantasies for frolicking, fun-filled, festive families. You had to wear a goofy straw hat, and I remember you did not want to wear that hat, but you did because I did. And started at the same place I did, and you know how that came about was our father wanting us to be involved and him wanting to impact you through me. So he asked me to reach out to you, and welcome to Motivational Monday, conversations with me, David Ibarra, and my special guest, Ken Isakson, the owner and operator of Po Boyz Flooring. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you, David.
Well, I want to jump right into it. You've been in the carpet flooring business for quite some time.
Yes. I started in about 1979 as a teenager as kind of a summer job, working at a company called Carpet Town, which was kind of a staple flooring company in the Salt Lake Valley for
Were they the
years.
one of the building that had the three guys on it? Now it's a Mexican restaurant.
Dan, Phil, and Andy.
Oh, yeah.
They called them the Carpet Trio, which is now the Tres Hombres on 33rd and Highland.
Right. So you started in the summer. How old were you?
I think I was about 15, maybe 16, and as how it turned out, how I got employment there was they had a program, and it was the Lions Club had a summer program for what they called at-risk kids, which was us poor West Siders, to keep us out of trouble and get us engaged in working. And so we went to work there on that program where Carpet Town would pay half of our wages. The Lions Club would pay the other half of our wages. So it's incentive for these businesses to sponsor these young teenagers back in the day. That's how I started.
Very cool. And they get a benefit because they get somebody that's going to at least shag tools or what have you, but every now and then they get a rising star, and I bet you were one of those.
Well, unfortunately, they started me sweeping the floors. So that's where I did start. But
good.
The program ended, I think, 2 summers it went on, and they kept me on board and took on paying my full salary, and then started training me on the installation side. So, that's
so you started with installing carpet, or was it a flooring, a tile in hardwood?
Primarily carpet.
Carpet.
Yeah, primarily carpet. And it took a couple of years as a journeyman apprentice to get to the point where I was knowledgeable enough to go out on my own and get my licensing and credentials to install on my own. But I still started installing very young.
Tell me about how that all started out. Who were you assigned to somebody? Tell me
exactly,
about some of the stories that you might be top of mind relating to just jumping in a young individual with a couple of older guys, I'm assuming.
Yes. I started with a fellow named Dwayne Brenner, who was their head installer. And at first they were sending me out just to help him in with the carpet, move some furniture here and there. And then they started sending me out for the full day to learn the trade. And so I learned from one of the best. And Dwayne has since passed away some years ago, but he was very well respected around the flooring community. And so I was trained by the best.
So after working for a couple of years, did you stay with them? How long were you with them? How did you get into this full time? A lot of people go to a university. A lot of people will go to a trade tech, and then a lot of people will get their education on the job. All three are excellent, and I'm assuming yours was on the job.
Oh, definitely on the job. And I got married at a very young age, so it was critical.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Well, that is young. That is young.
And so I learned quickly as fast as I could because I knew to get a bit bigger and better paycheck, I had to learn. So it took me about 2 years of installation on the job training. Believe me, I paid attention because time was definitely a factor in my goals. So I was about 20 years old when I stepped out on my own, bought a work truck, all my own tools, and started doing smaller jobs, working myself up to bigger jobs. And I did that for probably 5-7 years before Carpet Town sold.
Now, when you say you go off on your own, I'm assuming that the flooring entities or companies, stores around the country, they sell the carpet, and then they have independent installers that are privately owned companies. And is that what you started off, or were you an employee of Carpet Town, or did you start your own company as an installer?
So at first I was an employee while I trained. And then when I did break off on my own, some of the credentials is getting your licensing, your insurance and liability and your workers' comp. And there's some other things you need to do.
Sure.
But then you do step out on your own as an independent 1099 tax reported by the 1099 form as an independent contractor. So you step out on your own, and then you contract out to the flooring companies.
Right.
Now you're not tied to any certain flooring company. You can bounce around. You can work for 4 or 5 different flooring companies.
Now, as we're having this discussion, just to keep our listeners engaged, where are we going? Po Boyz Flooring is one of the most successful flooring companies in our state. And it's interesting that you've grown it incredibly successful in the commercial side, in the residential side, beautiful building. And so I think it's a fascinating story, success story of how somebody works towards that goal of being one of the biggest and best in the state. So continue with the story of the path to opening your own entity where you now become the flooring company instead of the installer.
Yeah. Okay, Dave. Well, thanks for all the compliments. But yes, I did installation for some time. Carpet Town wound up retiring, all 3 of the guys, and selling the company. And then I went to work for a commercial contractor. So I kind of got to learn both sides of residential and then the contractor side, the bigger projects, for a company called David Taylor and Associates. And I worked for him for quite a long time. And then I wanted to get off my knees. It's a hard profession. It's hard on your body. It's just tough. It really is. And you kind of cap out on a pay scale of you can only work so much and lay so much carpet. So David offered me a position as a salesman for him. So I started doing commercial bid work, usually just taking blueprint reads off of blueprints and bidding different projects around the state, sometimes out-of-state projects. And so I started building a clientele in the commercial side, but also learned a lot. I mean, that was the most important part. So from there, I actually moved on to a distributor sales rep. So I thought to take the next step, which is working to a distributor company that sells to retail flooring
And who
stores.
was that distributing company?
It was called Mountain States Marketing, and they're local here in Salt Lake and have been here forever. Good company. Dean Zekas is the owner. And anyway, I moved along calling on carpet stores, but I was on the road a lot.
So you went from installers on one side of the carpet company, and then you went to the supplier calling on the carpet company, flooring company. So
Exactly.
you were working both ends, just weren't in the center yet.
Exactly. My territory was from 33rd South all the way to Las Vegas, and every carpet store in between.
Wow.
So I did that for a little bit, and I really admired the entrepreneurship of all these independent flooring stores that are plentiful. It is a competitive market, and I learned a lot. I was always taking in what I was seeing and what I was hearing, and the relationships that I built with some of these flooring store owners. And I thought, maybe this is for me. Maybe this is what I want to do.
About what age were you when you started to have that whisper of, hey, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I was about 38. I was about 38 when I first came up with the thoughts of opening my own carpet store. And so it took me probably about a year to get my ducks in a row and all of my research and whether I wanted to buy into a franchise operation or if I wanted to start from scratch or what I could afford. I mean, and I went out on a shoestring. I didn't have much of a bank behind me. I took a mortgage out on my house to get started. And we started out in a little tiny retail store in Midvale that only had about 1,500 square feet.
Now, where did you come up? I give seminars on how to create an entity, and it's not just about the product you sell; it's about the way in which you sell it. It's the theme in how you do it. Where in the world did you come up with your ideas? And to create a name that kind of indicates that there's no reason you can't have champagne on a beer budget.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of that came from just reflecting on my own self and my bank account being not in great shape when I started. We started very frugal. Our tenant space was inexpensive. It was small. My credit lines were small. And so that's where kind of the po' boy came from. But there was also Dalton, Georgia's, where about 75% of all the carpet that is laid in the United States is produced, manufactured, put together, dyed, and shipped from Dalton, Georgia area. So the Po Boyz is a lot of people kind of related to the famous Southern po' boy sandwich.
Oh.
So I just took it and kind of stole it from that idea.
So you had been there on trips to view the manufacturers, and you probably ate one or two of those sandwiches.
For sure I did. And I still see them on menus, even here in Salt Lake. A lot of people have a po' boy sandwich on their menu. But, yeah, exactly. We flew to, my wife and I went to Dalton, Georgia, to make our connections with the mills, manufacturers, one-on-one.
Great.
And filled out a lot of applications and what have you, and kind of got everything in order to open the retail store. So we wound up opening the retail store, and I think
in what year did you open that?
99.
I see.
99 we opened, and I can't say we took off, but we definitely grew within 2 years.
26 years in business. Wow. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is, and we survived a lot, like the 2008 recession, housing recession, and what have you. We did get through all that, but we outgrew. We moved down the street in Midvale. We didn't want to move too far because people were just starting to find us and knew where we were. So it was actually we moved about 2 blocks down the road into a building that was about 3 times the size. Scary because, of course, the rent was 3 times as much as well. But made that move, and we stayed there for a very long time, and built a clientele. And then I think it was about 5-6 years ago, we stepped out and purchased our own building in Sandy, where we're currently located.
I can remember a little bit about that because you and I have a long-standing relationship that I'm going to get into a little bit later in this conversation. But you gave me a call and wanted some advice on that building. Do you remember how that day went?
Remember it distinctly, and I tell the story a lot, especially to family and friends. But I'm one of these guys that I'm just a nervous Eddie about everything. If it's coming out of my wallet, I'm just very cautious. And I looked at this building, came available, and of course a price tag is reflected on the great location that it is at.
And that location is right on?
It's 8801 South, 700 East in Sandy.
Yes, so it's got a great artery in front of it, good traffic pattern, a beautiful building that was, at the time, what was the...
It was a bicycle shop.
Yes.
Yes, it was a bicycle shop.
But when you looked at it, it just looked like you.
Oh, it did. It felt great.
Yeah.
It felt perfect. And we actually tried to buy the building that I was currently in Midvale, and the guy just didn't want to cut loose with selling it. Mm-hmm. So I started looking. We found that place, and it was kind of in the dream state. I think I was in the dream state. Like, wouldn't this be great? Don't know if I'll ever see it happen that we can actually open our doors here. But I did call David, and I said, Dave, I found this building. I just want your thoughts on it. Would you have time to come by and look at this building for me? And just, I respect David's business opinion and his mentorship, I should say. So he met me over there with the owners, father and son. And gosh, we walked through it. It took us about 20 minutes to walk through the building and walk around the building. And David took me aside. I said, come here, Kenny, I want to talk to you over here. So I go over and he says, so do you like it? I says, yeah. And he goes, do you want it? And I says, yeah, I'd love to make it happen. But he says, no, wait a minute. Either you want it or you don't want it. You're going to move on this or aren't we? Are we wasting time, or let's get this deal done? I'm like, all right, let's do this. So me and Dave walked back, and we negotiated for about 5 minutes is all. It didn't take a long time to negotiate the deal. And then we had a handshake, and I was now soon to be.
That's right. And it was a perfect situation, and the individual wanted to have a consistent income, so was willing to sell it over a period of time and be the bank, and we were able to do that very quickly. And I can remember you walking out. Did we really just do that?
Yeah. I was plenty scared, Dave. I mean, I really was. But it was a big purchase, the biggest purchase I've ever made in my life.
So tell me, 5 years has gone by. You had that amount you had to pay each month that you were concerned about. How do you feel now?
I feel great. It was never a burden. It was a good move as far as the location was so good. And I think it helped with the foot traffic, the retail foot traffic that was coming into my showroom. And we was able, I've never, ever had a time where I ever had to worry about the payment.
Have you made a few extra payments?
Extra payments, yes, we have. We've paid down the building.
Very good.
And the great thing is we bought it at a great time, because even on a carry loan with the interest rate and everything that we signed up, and commercial properties are usually at a higher interest rate anyway. But it's very, very good compared to today's interest rates. So the timing was perfect.
So you've moved your sales from Midvale to Sandy, and Percentage-wise, how big has your growth been from the time you moved to today? Take a moment and picture in your mind igniting your child's journey to lifelong success from an early age. With Yes, Our Kids Can, this vision becomes a reality right from preschool. Don't miss this chance to shape your child's path towards extraordinary success. Enroll in the Yes, Our Kids Can University now and witness the remarkable impact it can have on your child's growth and development. Secure your child's bright future today. Sign up now by clicking the link below.
It's doubled.
Doubled.
I can say that. Yeah, we went through a growing spurt for sure. And Sandy City, just to give them kudos on how great they are to work with, was very welcoming. They helped me move along with my permits and inspections, and was just happy to have me up there, and have been very supportive.
Most cities really like those that produce sales tax revenue.
Oh, yeah, they do. Absolutely.
Well, tell me, what are some of the bigger projects that you've done that comes to mind for Po Boyz Carpet Flooring entity?
Oh, okay.
What? Tell me, tell our listeners some of the jobs you've been involved in.
Oh,
what are they?
Well, a couple that we have just completed is we just finished the Park City Police Department, and it was a huge project, big project. We've also done the courthouse up in Park City, the county courthouse, and that was a big project. Them are two just. We've done projects as big as Burlington Coat Factories. We do some of your dealerships, projects like that. As an installer, I've done many jobs. I helped with the Delta Center when it was first opened up with Larry Miller. We've done schools.
Have you done any famous people's homes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did Robert Redford's project up there at Sundance, and we are currently under contract to do a new development called Bob's Cabins, which Bob's is because of Robert Redford's, was where his personal office, which was an old beat-up cabin in the midst of Sundance that I had installed many years ago.
Wow.
And they have now demoed it, and they're building 4 huge buildings on there. A company called New Star Construction is the contractor on the job, and we're now getting prepared to start that project in about a month.
Wow. So
yeah.
Any other notable individual that you share with the audience that you've done work on?
Well, we've done work for Jerry Sloan. So back in
the jazz days, boy.
Yeah.
Can't the most solid tenured coach, I believe, in America at the time.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
good.
done some up in Park City for some celebrities as well through the years, not so well-known guys.
So even rich people like poor boy pricing.
Oh, yeah. I had to second guess that when we got underway with the Po Boyz theme is people going to think like we're just a super budget, low end, selling inferior product or irregulars or what have you. But we've been able to overcome that by our reviews. We have great reviews. And the quality of carpet and the installation. Now, most of our installers have been with me for over 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's big. Even though they are an independent contractor that can work other places, we treat them good. Yeah. We pay them well. And we, especially with my experience of installation, I'm picky. And so we keep what we
What
have.
we see from somebody needing a small house, from somebody as big as a Delta Center to chains to celebrities, you're involved all across the spectrum, and that's why you're one of the largest. Now, you just finished a formal a program for entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I got involved with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses.
Mm-hmm.
A great experience. It is they have what they call cohorts, which is courses.
Right.
And they bring in guest professors from Westminster, from all different aspects of human resources to financial statements and the whole idea is a growth plan. Mm-hmm. Growth plan. And so over the course of this Goldman Sachs course, you are writing a growth plan. Now, it can be a legitimate growth plan. This is that is entirely based on your business,
right.
What you would like to do. Or it can be fictitious. They just want to teach you the process of entrepreneurship and growth.
Now, how long is the program?
Gosh,
or was the program?
It was 16 weeks.
16 weeks, and you had to dedicate 2 days of the week?
Yeah, 2 days a week. It's one full day a week and a lot of half days.
Right.
And so it is a time investment, and it's always hard for especially entrepreneurs that are running their businesses.
Yes. And you don't, not anybody's invited. You have to have a certain level of success in order to come. So so the people there are already successful.
Yes, they are. They only accept about 30% of applicants into this program.
Wow.
And you have to meet a criteria, meaning you have to have so much in retail sales. You have to have so many employees. You've had to, it's a staple of success. You have to have.
So you've put together a growth plan. So there may be something coming our way in the future.
Yes. I did my growth plan based on my existing business, on expanding it. And so I've got my idea on paper. I've done a lot of market research, which I'm still doing market research because risk factor is huge. Risk factor is huge when you want to make that step. So anyway, stay tuned because it's going to happen.
That's great. Now, you and I have a bit of a history, don't we?
We do.
Now, for the viewers looking at us, that we may even have a little bit of a similarity in our look.
Yeah.
I want to share something with everybody. Kenny and I are brothers, half brothers. We have the same father. We don't have the same last name, but we have the same father. And I got acquainted with you in a personal way. About how long ago, Kenny?
Gosh, Dave, I think I was only about 16 or 17. And I was working at Carpet Town, but I was very ambitious, always looking to make a buck, I guess. And David offered me a position to work with him or for him at a company called Farrell's Ice Cream Restaurant in Fashion Place Mall, which was an iconic, well-known establishment back in the day.
I started my career as a dishwasher at Farrell's. Farrell's features fabulous food and fantastic fountain fantasies for frolicking, fun-filled, festive families. You had to wear a goofy straw hat, and I remember you did not want to wear that hat, but you did because I did. And started at the same place I did, and you know how that came about was our father wanting us to be involved and him wanting to impact you through me. So he asked me to reach out to you, and later on, just to tell the audience, it's you don't have to get into the story deep and all of that, but you became a very close to our dad, and you and I had the pleasure, and I say the pleasure, of spending time with Dad his last day of his life, and having someone show us the power and grace of leaving this life and going to what next, and it not being sad. Do you remember that?
Oh, like yesterday, it was amazing to see his courage and his okay with letting go. I really admired that, and really don't understand it, because I think everybody has a fear of death.
And he did not.
But he didn't. He
And
had
it was,
no fear.
I'm ready to turn off the machine. David, turn off the machine. You were there. I was there. Our other brother was there, Nick. And I said, Dad, I'm not unplugging that machine. Unplug it. Unplug it. I'm ready to go, baby. Unplug it. Nurse, unplug it. Unplugs it. Whoa. Wait a minute. Plug it back in.
Yeah.
What, Dad? One more picture with my boys.
He was he was big on pictures, wasn't he, Dave?
Oh, boy, the last thing we hear him say, and he went looking in our eyes, eyeball to eyeball, holding onto our hands, and he was happy.
He was.
He was happy to go. So I've had the pleasure of being an older brother, although I probably don't look like it. And I want to tell you something, how much your family has meant to mine. I want to close with you telling us a little bit about your family, because you've got a special entrepreneur within it too. But tell us a little bit about you, Cindy, and your kids, and let's end with the entrepreneur of the family.
Okay. So I got married very young.
Mm-hmm.
Had our first son in '79, Jeremy.
Yes.
Who has gone on to become a engineer.
Right. Great young man.
And he's very smart, that guy. And he has 3 great kids, 2 daughters and a son. And then I had a daughter, Kendra, that we lost in 2001, who had an 18-month-old daughter, Angel. So when we lost Kendra, we actually adopted Angel and have raised her as our own.
Right.
And then there was Lindsay. Lindsay was our second child, or third child, I should say, because it was Jeremy, Kendra, and then Lindsay. Right. And Lindsay had gone on and had worked for me for a while. Went to college at Dixie, and out of college she came back and was working for me and had a couple of her own ideas. And let me just add this part, is this entrepreneurship must be in our blood, because our father, Francisco, was the predecessor of all of us siblings,
right,
as stepping out as an entrepreneur himself, running his own business.
35 years, the Mona Lisa House of Beauty.
What a hard worker he was.
He went from a migrant worker to a Kennecott miner, part of the powder gang, where they lowered him off the side of the mountain. He drilled, filled it full of dynamite, yanked on it, pulled him back up, ran like hell. I used to always laugh until his dad went from bombs to bangs and became a hairdresser.
Yeah. And because of that explains why he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
You know? but it all started with Dad, and he just was the hardest worker I ever met. And then David here starting me at Farrell's, I thought, going to work for my older brother, this is great. I'm going to get some special treatment here. I got a cush. I got a cush thing going on here. And but he started me in the kitchen washing dishes. And I thought, wow, I'm not liking this. This ain't that fun. But I got to tell you, it taught me a lot. It really did. And I get some of my work ethics, and I look at David as a mentor, because not only has he mentored myself through this whole long process of my entrepreneurship history, but he did my children as well, my kids. And Lindsay is extremely successful. She owns her own company and has built that company. When she quit me, I was like, I don't know, Linz, about this idea. But
And the name of her company?
is the Little Milk Bar.
And she was just recently named one of the 40
Under 40.
under
yes.
40 to watch.
Yes.
And
Which is one of her many accomplishments.
and she's been on like every major magazine cover
Yes. She is
in a unbelievable project called The Milk Bar.
the Little Milk Bar.
The
yeah.
Little Milk Bar. Look it up. It is interesting. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I want to give you a gift for being on our program today. Another copy of my book, Live Ready, Beyond, Think and Grow Rich. And Kenny, love you. Thank you for being on our program today.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it and love you, and I will read this book.
Perfect. Thank you.